Alright, layout progress update here. Looks like kind of a disaster area in here right now because I've been reconfiguring and kind of cleaning out drum stuff and rearranging it in order to fit the benchwork in. But down there we can see the east end of things, where trains will come in underneath I-25 and enter the layout into the yard right here, on across the Platte River, roughly where the drill is sitting. Come around the corner and down this way, right about there in that corner is where Sheridan Boulevard is. That corner there is about Federal Boulevard. Going to use that as a scene divider to kind of cut the turnback curve in half a little bit. And then here we'll have West Metro Petroleum, otherwise known as West Metro Petro. Yeah, Front Range Lumber and Reload lot right here. Then another corner, go across a tiny little creek. And then another turnback curve, which I'll probably disguise with a thick stand of trees or something like that. There's always a way. And then over here into the Harper's Brewery area. And the termination of that little branch line, that little beer spur. But you can see the open frame benchwork framed out there. So now I just got to go cut the plywood tops, the OSB tops, and this will be ready to start cutting and laying some foam. So, alrighty. Well, the basic part of the benchwork is complete, and I managed to clean the room up a little bit here. So, as you can see, we've got a nice ocean of OSB now. And so now, just a couple more painful things that need to be done before I can start doing the fun stuff. Number one, because of this little guy right here, I've had to partition off this entrance right here. So I framed out the opening. I didn't attach the studs to the walls per se. I just measured the opening, made a frame out of 2x4s, and it's largely freestanding except for these bolts, which are there's T-nuts right there on the top, and these 2-inch bolts squeeze up through the T-nuts against this little plywood shim, and so it puts pressure on the upper sill there, or the header or whatever, and so that's sufficient to keep it from tipping over and keep the cat from tipping it over and making his way into this room. So a similar appliance will be put over on this end so that I can close this opening off, and I'll put a 24-inch door in there, which I arrived at because of the amount of sticking out the benchwork does right here from the wall. It actually puts it out closer to 14 inches out from the wall instead of 12. Plus there's going to be 3 inches of studs on this side. So getting a 30-inch door in there means cutting out so much of the frame that it has to fit around the benchwork, plus the 4 inches of foam and whatever interference with the scenery it's going to be. It's a headache I don't want. Just use a narrower door, and then this end of it will disappear into its own little cubbyhole doorway kind of a deal that allows me to close it off when the railroad's not in use, and when it's open, lift the hatch, roll the staging yard out, clamp it into place. The staging yard will take up an area in the kitchen here, and that'll just enough to get trains on and off the layout, give them somewhere to go instead of straight to the floor, obviously. But and of course, to keep the cat from interfering with operating sessions vis-a-vis the staging yard, I'll probably stick a screen door or something right there in that opening so that the kitchen can be used by the staging crew or operator or me. Just kind of airlocking the cat out of there. I mean, cats and model railroads don't get along very well, especially with a foam style benchwork. So I really don't want to have to deal with that. And then God save the mark, you know, the power plant's going over there on that wide spot. Power plant means wires and lots of them. And I'm not having this little Godzilla trampsing through there, tearing up all my handiwork. So, but anyway, yeah, the tabletop, the heavy cutting is done. I can finally scoop that sawdust pile up in the garage and put it in the bucket so we can use it for oil absorption, or hell's I might keep it clean so that if I need it to represent some piece of scenery on the layout or whatever. I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt to have a bag of clean sawdust when you're doing scenery. So, yeah, just things to think about in the future. So, now that this bit's done, now all I got to do is build that door unit for that end. Then I can start bringing in some foam and start prepping for track work. So, you can see that we've got foam pieces cut to make our road base. And so now I'm going to use some of this stuff here. It's not the Foam Pro, but I'm going to give it a whack because nobody in Denver apparently has the Foam Pro gun that you need in order to rock those big cans of orange stuff. So we're going to see how this stuff goes. And I mean, it's a Dow product on another Dow product, so it says it bonds most building materials. We'll see how it goes with this. Now, because this stuff expands, it's going to need a little weight on it. So, Pacific drums and percussion to the rescue. Other thing I'm trying to do is prevent this from migrating too much. So, we'll let this cook for a little bit. I'll get the other side prepped and ready to do that. And something I should mention about doing these is I'm using a dry paintbrush beforehand to kind of take any sawdust off from the work table, any little tiny nibbly bits of blue foam that come from cutting it. Just get everything clean so that I can get as much surface area to surface area contact as I can. And because much like the Ken Patterson modules, I want these things to be easily removable to take back outside, just as 4-inch thick foam chunks. So we'll see how that goes. Alrighty, so got the glue going on the other side there. Got some bass drums weighing that down. If those don't do the trick, I don't know what else to do. Maybe park a car on it, but... So, anyway, we'll give all this stuff time to dry. And I'll come back and we'll do some mocking up with track work so we can get an idea of what the track plan is going to look like on this thing. But while I'm waiting, time for some red beer, and we'll get back to making our happy little model railroad project here.